Asmathguru Namaha. In this session, I'm just going to give you a bird's eye view about the botany lessons or botany chapters that will be covered in the first PUC syllabus. Before that, let me just think through or just throw some light upon general questions that arises in every student's mind. Right? Especially in this technical era where life is ruled by computers, at the tip of the button you will have what you want, right? So some people might question that why I need to study botany. I have to take a biology because I need to get into some medical course. These might be the basic things that might be running in your mind. But as a subject, why you need to study botany? Why it is being studied as a different branch of biology? Why should I bother how a plant looks? Why should I bother how a flower looks? And what seeds it produces? What happens inside the plant? These are the general vague questions, curious questions that rise up in young minds and which are usually unanswered, right? So botany is just not a subject to be studied with respect to only exam point of view with some prescribed syllabus and with a technical way of writing a question and particular answers and diagrams and at that point of time you find it quite stressful and it's so boring to write a botany record. It's so boring to write some such elaborate pictures, and the labeling is so complicated, the mechanisms are so complicated. If you think in terms of exam and study the subject, any subject for that matter, it's going to be very hard. Like there is a difference between when you want to do it or when you have to do it. When you have to do it, it becomes stressful. But when you want to do it, there is a passion that comes from within. So actually, plants are the most divine expression of nature. If you see that way, it's the best software program that nature has written for survival of human beings. It's like there is no programming for, what should be the duration for which the seed needs to be incubated, when the plant should come, what type of plant should come from what type of seed. Can you even think of writing a software program for this? No, but nature has it already, and so beautiful it is. It is the brilliance of nature, only a drop of it. We are trying to understand it in the name of botany. Right? So definitely when it is looked with an environmental perspective and how beneficial it is to learn about plants, learn about flowers, when you are just walking a path, when you see some beautiful plants, you say that it is good patch of green, right? But when you are a botany student and your observation, or you will start thinking with a higher intellect, right? You will start observing its leaves. You will start observing its flowers. You will know if the plant has been attacked with a disease, right? Or what type of flowers it's bearing, what type of inflorescence it is having, what fruits it's going to give. And is that plant existing or surviving in a right condition, or you need to improvise its condition? All these thoughts can flow only when you know the subject technically. With this respect, in first PUC, or the 11th standard syllabus, it's very, very scientifically and it's a very organized syllabus what you have in botany. First and foremost, when you see something, what you see is just the morphology, right? It's how a plant looks. That comes under morphology of flowering plants. In morphology of flowering plants, you will be learning about various aspects, right? Different parts. What will be the stem, what type of the stem, how there is the stem various types of stems are modified, the root of the plant, the technical aspect of the root, that is whether it is a monocot or whether it is taproot, fibrous roots or adventitious root, what type of storage, what type of modification, depending on the type of plant into which different families they are categorized, because it's like, each family has a characteristic feature, signature feature. So if a plant fulfills all those criteria, whether it is a shrub, herb or a tree, it is categorized into different families. So just like that, it's a bird's eye view about technical aspects of the flower, its parts of the flower, its orientation, its inflorescence, the type of placentation. All these things you will be studying in morphology. It's just the surface. You have still not traveled deep, right? But this itself gives you such a vast information that it's very easy to classify the plants and study. Next, we will come to anatomy of flowering plants. Now, you just know from outside how a plant looks, right? So, in anatomy, you will be trying to go deeper. That is, you are trying to dissect the plant and you are trying to study what exactly is inside, right? How there are various rings in the bark and, what are the type of tissues which the plants are made up of, and what is its anatomy. And in case of monocots it will be different, in case of dicots it will be different, what will be the above layer, what will be the next layer, the different layers. You're gradually traveling deep by studying anatomy of flowering plants. After studying all the tissues, you will know, okay, fine, all these tissues are made up of cells, right? Cell ultimately becomes the basic unit of life. What is this cell which is the unit of life? What are you going to study in this? Within this cell, entire thing behaves as one organism itself, like it's a factory where you have various cell organelles like chloroplast and what is the outer membrane of the chloroplast possess, and the ribosomes and the centrioles, the cytoskeletal elements, all these things, the Golgi apparatus, in endoplasmic reticulum, each cell is contributing. It's so significant. The contribution of each cell towards the plant is so significant. You will know once you study the cell biology aspect in botany, right? How each cell is contributing to the entire organism, right? And about the cytoplasm, about the cell envelope, and which are the different types of cells, whether it's a prokaryotic cell or a eukaryotic cell, how exactly they function. So this is about the concept of studying of cell. Then comes the deep cell biology, where you study how the cells divide in the vegetative cells and in the gametes, right? How it is contributing for the growth. That you will be studying in cell division, right? After all these things, you studied the morphology, then you went deeper, the anatomy. Then in anatomy, you studied about the tissues. Then we studied what these tissues are made up of. That is about the each cell. After studying the entire thing, these were all the structural aspect of the plant. Okay, now what functions, like how exactly a plant survives? Now comes the physiology, right? Here exactly what we study is how the transport in plants take place, right? So when you water the plant or when you give a nutrition and when the plants absorb the nutrition in the soil, how they take up, right? How the movement takes place within the plants. There are so many scientists who have contributed their discoveries towards these aspects. You will be studying about all those things and how minerals are taken up, right? How the metal ions are taken up. All these things will come in transport of plants. Next, coming to mineral nutrition, this itself is a different concept as such, right? How the minerals are absorbed. Here we study about the hydroponics, that is without even providing the soil, how you are able to make a plant grow. And there are so many scientists who work towards it, and it's biochemical mechanisms, what exactly happens inside the cell. It's an amazing software by nature, I can say that, how exactly it takes place and how it is so foolproof. We will be studying about entire thing. Then coming to the greenery aspect of the plant, the photosynthesis, right? How exactly the plants produce food. We are surviving because the plants do photosynthesize. Otherwise, you can't even expect a human life on earth, right? It is that important a process, right? How exactly photosynthesis take place in higher plants, and how exactly the starch is produced and the water is released, right? Then how do plants respire? So this is one more amazing concept, where exactly how carbon dioxide is absorbed and how the plants give oxygen. That entire thing is understood in this chapter, respiration in plants, where you will be completely studying about it at the cellular level. What exactly happens within a cell, how the molecules move, which are the different pathways that are involved. And coming to finally the plant growth and development, we will be studying about different phases of plant growth. We will be studying about the phytohormones and the sequence of developmental process, how exactly the plants grow. This is all the physiological aspect of it. So here in the botany, it's so scientifically organized that you will start with how exactly the plant looks. At the aesthetic level, you can just say that the plant looks beautiful, the plant looks green. But if you are a botany student, you can definitely think little higher, and you can say that yes, the plants have different kind of leaves. This is the type of arrangement of the leaves. Whether this is a category that is belonging to a shrub, herb, or a tree. This bears this type of flowers, and why? The technical aspects you can know. And if you able to dissect the plant, you can also know that what are the different types of tissues that are present inside. You can go to the cell level, up to the cellular level, and you can say what are the different mechanisms that are happening within the cell up to its molecular level. You can study. And I can just tell you that it is our responsibility to know what is giving life for us. So it's an extremely important step to know about plants, just not for sake of exam point of view, but you need to develop little bit of a passion towards its subject. It's just not, studying about greens, writing some good diagrams, writing correct answers and good marks. No, you need to study so that down the lane, when especially in this era where we are facing so much of crisis towards this environment, and there are so much of depletion of natural resources, be it students of botany, it becomes our responsibility to contribute something to Mother Earth. So that is with that intent, when you study botany, it's definitely an amazing subject, and you need to have the technical know-hows and knowledge about it. Now, according to a scientist, Joseph Paxton, he says that botany is one of the most beautiful branch of the knowledge. It's one of the most attractive, most useful and most extensive department of human knowledge. It's above every other, and it is called as the science of beauty. Right? There are so many things that when you study botany, you can connect yourself to so many interdisciplinary branches of science that you can work on. Right? It could be environmental science, ecology, environmental biotechnology. For all these things, the basis is botany. So a strong, sound technical botany knowledge will definitely help you to explore more aspects in your career. And down the lane, with each chapter, we have dealt in detail with respect to morphology, anatomy, the cellular aspects, the photosynthesis, the physiological aspects. Everything we have delivered it as lectures, which is really delivered to you with beautiful PowerPoint presentations, which will help you to imagine better and making the learning easy. And after going through the lectures and going through the PowerPoint presentations and the lecture contents, if you still have any kind of clarifications or doubts, you can definitely get back for one-on-one interaction, and all the details are given in the website, and hope you all take the best benefit of this knowledge. Thank you.